Some people ask me why I do what I do now, because I started life as a chartered surveyor. So let me share my story. My father ran a successful business, and as far as I know, he spent a lot of his time making sure that every single penny he earned stayed in his pocket and as little as possible went to the tax man. When he died, he left everything to my mother. And unfortunately, she died only 3 years later. Their wills, yes, they had written wills, left their estate to my sister and me in equal shares. But like so many people, they hadn't planned to die. And so they hadn't thought about what will happen when I do. And in this case, what happened was HMRC clobbered over 30% of the estate. Now, if my father had known that by not planning to die and taking any actions to mitigate tax, he would pass 30% of his hard-earned money to the taxman, he would be turning in his grave. Now, there are many things that you can do today, which they could have done then, but they weren't planning to die, which will mitigate, eradicate, or maybe even eliminate the tax due on the estate through inheritance tax. One of the simplest of these is a life policy, which will just create the fund that's needed to pay the tax. But there are investments which have got inheritance tax advantages as well. So, inheritance tax is voluntary. If you think that you or your family parents might be affected by inheritance tax, why don't you give me a ring to see if I can show you some ways to mitigate that tax? And I appreciate that it can be difficult for children to raise the subject with their parents. So why don't you let me have the opportunity of speaking with them by either sharing this link or just sending them my phone number, because I would love to be able to help.